Greetings, everyone. Welcome to our first live stream on Okizeme Coffee Twitch channel. Appreciate y'all hopping in. And we called this the Counter Hit Cafe. This is the spot where we can come in and we can yap about fighting game stuff, and we're going to bring in influential people from around the fighting game scene. And the place that I wanted to start with this particular project was I wanted to start here at home. I wanted to start here in the Milwaukee scene where I got my start, and I got my start because of the groundwork that had been laid many years before I even knew what competitive fighting games were. I found out about competitive fighting games around 2019, and there was a significant amount of groundwork that went in before I even heard about Run the Sets over in Menominee Falls. And sitting here with me is one of those people that kind of held the scene together through a pretty tumultuous era, shifting from traditional arcades to just having people get together and play fighting games because they liked them. So I am here with none other than Jerry Hauppa. Jerry, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
No, like we met years ago when I first started to kind of embed myself in the FGC and was starting to run events. But where did your FGC journey kind of start? Like when did that kind of become a thing where you knew you wanted to start bringing people together and playing games with them?
I could take you real far back if you'd like.
Absolutely, take me back.
It's like there is no middle point where I could be like, this is where it makes sense. It has to go all the way back.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm an older person. I'm 44 years old, and so I was around when the fighting game scene really took hold in the arcades with Street Fighter II: The World Warrior, and I had to have been, it was 91, so I was 10. And I remember the first time seeing it, it was at a roller rink, Fleetwood roller rink in south side of Chicago. And I had, it blew my mind, of course. I had seen like pictures of it in magazines. I had always, like, every time it came out, every month I would spend, the little allowance money I had on Electronic Gaming Monthly, and there's an old magazine, which if you don't know, and they would have screenshots of the arcade game. And at that time, I was always a video game player. I was always like mainly a platformer, and I had never really encountered the idea of a game based on just like one-on-one. To me, that was like, I didn't understand how it was a video game. Because like, to me, video games where you go through a level and you meet the end boss. And if I saw, like in Electronic Gaming Monthly, if I saw a picture of Ryu and a picture of Blanca, I was like, okay, Ryu had to get to what to meet Blanca at the end of the stage? I didn't understand that the game was really just that. It was the fighting between the two.
Which is really funny because the first Street Fighter was exactly that. And then Street Fighter 2 is
well, Street Fighter 1 was still one-on-one.
Yeah. But it was still like...
Yeah, but I hadn't seen it ever. I wish I had with those pressure-sensitive buttons. I wish I had.
Those are beautiful.
but yeah, and when I played it and realized, like, the completely different energy that there is between just one task. You have the one, you're not beating a bunch of enemies, you're not, jumping on platform to platform, you have one task to beat the opponent. Like that was a completely different energy that I was like, that's what I want. Give me all of the games you can. So I played all of them. I rented every single one, regardless how bad it was. I rented, if you could think of it, even down to your like Shaq Foos. I rented them. I owned what I could, but I rented the rest. And as far as it becoming an FGC thing, I didn't realize that it was the competitive aspect was viable for anything beyond like Evo. I knew of Evo, and I moved to Milwaukee after living near Chicago. So I'll take it back further. So I grew up with Uncle Bob's Arcade in the south side of Chicago.
Uncle Bob.
And that if you could find a video of it on YouTube, a commercial for it, and they show the Mortal Kombat guys, because it's midway with the Chicago being there.
Yeah.
So they had the actors there at the time, and as soon as I'm a horror movie guy too. So when I saw fatalities, that was like, it took what Street Fighter did and it digitized actors, and then it was like, this is real. Like I'm living the horror movie, and I can control that. And that is just another level of insanity. So that gripped me, and that was 1992. That gripped me in ways that, like, I thought Street Fighter 2 had me. I was like, this is even, like, the next level. So I spent as much time as I could in that arcade growing up. Then went to high school, went away to college here at Marquette, and I stuck around here doing music. And after I graduated from college, I was just like, I still love these games, and I was playing the Street Fighter Anniversary Collection on PS2. Okay. So that was the best way for me to access Third Strike. I didn't have the Dreamcast. I don't know how I did not. I somehow made it through college without playing Marvel, which is ridiculous. I did play it at Haunted Trails in Chicago, another arcade, which still stands. Look up Haunted Trails. Check it out if you can. So I moved here, and I was playing casually with my friends, still being terrible. Despite playing these games since the 90s, still very bad at all of them, because I didn't really break down the strategies. I would play friends that were not, like, super great,
Yeah.
and I would just play and have fun.
It's the greatest lie the devil ever told. So the longer you play fighting games, the better you'll get. No, that's not how it works.
No. You have to train yourself to understand what you have to do to get better.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of, can I do a special move? It's when you can, and the right time to do it, and what resources it's going to take up. All those things. There's the very most basic task in a fighting game. There's a lot of logic that you have to interpret before you throw that out, or you're going to get blown up, and you know that.
What a quote from good friend Eli the Curry was, fighting games aren't martial arts contests. It's chess.
Yeah.
And, like, the more high level play I see, the more that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. And also another game I'm terrible at and still play all the time.
That's so fair.
Yeah, I love chess. I think that's the greatest game ever made. I'm sorry if I'm spewing all over you.
No, you're good. You're good.
But let me get back to where I was for how it relates to the FGC.
You are weaving the tapestry.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. So I was playing Anniversary Collection, and that's how I got my feet wet with Third Strike and realized how deep a game can be. I still played casually. Like, I rented the first Guilty Gear for PS1, and I was like, wow, you can kill someone in one move? Like, I didn't play the game. I rented it, returned it without understanding the game. But I would say Third Strike, despite playing Super Turbo like my whole life, the Super Nintendo versions of that game, which got only to Super, I never really understood what to do in which situations. And then with Third Strike, because it's, if you do that, I'm going to do this type of game, and I have an answer for all of the things that are going to come at me, you start to develop that reactionary type of understanding, as opposed to just being like, I have a set play in my head,
Yeah.
So I realized when I'm playing Third Strike with my friends that, like, I want to do this with more people, and I didn't know that there was something like Aladdin's Castle. I had no idea, and as much as you give me a lot of credit for keeping this together, and we'll get to how that happened, I still kind of jumped in after what was Wisconsin's, like, fighting game heyday. Wisconsin was a 3D fighting state, and I am much more a 2D player. I've always struggled with 3D games. I still do to this day. I rented all of the Tekken games growing up. Again, renting doesn't mean anything. I played it and loved it, but I never got into what makes the game what it is. And then I continued with 2D while Wisconsin was kicking ass with really, really good competitive players.
Oh, absolutely.
Because of, like, Aladdin's Castle, which I only found out about right when it was closing. And I don't know how that blind spot existed for me, because I was looking for what was already existing all this time. And only now, like after I started doing the casual hosting, did I start to meet a lot of those older players that thankfully are still around and still kicking ass at the tournaments that you host. But as far as I went, I was like, how do I find more people to play with? Because the arcade scene it no longer exists. I don't have the luxury of going into a place and putting a quarter up and being like, I'm going to challenge a stranger and try to outplay the stranger. So at the time, I wasn't aware of Tekken Zaibatsu, and I was not a Tekken player, but Tekken kept the state afloat, and when that kind of started to wane a little bit, I went on the SRK forum, Shoryuken forum, because I was like, what's out there? And it was just starting to catch fire again, because HDR had come out, Street Fighter 4 had come out in Japan, was on its way here, and I was like, well, maybe this will bring people out of the woodwork, and it really, really did. And right when that started to get to be a thing, there were a couple of local tournaments that happened here. And I found out about the first one at the Trax Tavern on the Shoryuken Forum. And that was put together by a great Balrog player that went by Soloist, and I really wish I could remember his name. Awesome guy. Wish I knew what happened to him. And Matt Severson, who you may know as Foot Meets Skull, who then put together he was the tournament organizer for the Milwaukee, like essentially 2D scene. That all happened all around the same time. So I went to that Trax Tavern tournament, which was for Street Fighter 4. I placed second with Geef, with my horrible Geef. And I met a lot of great friends in the process. I met Dan. You probably know Dan. He lived in Indiana, or he lives in Indiana now. He was living in Chicago, would come up here for the Tekken 3D scene, and a lot of the old players. But I'm sorry I'm blabbing, but I have another aside. I have another aside I want to get to, because this is actually hilarious. The first event I hosted was very tangentially Street Fighter related. So when we had New Year's in 2010, right? I was like, what is the dumbest way I could celebrate the new year in 2010? And when I was a kid, I definitely rented Street Fighter 2010 on the Nintendo. And I don't know if you know what that is.
Yes, Street Fighter 2010. That's the it's a side-scrolling platformer with like boss fights where Ken is in it. But
yeah, and the Japanese version is not Ken. They definitely like re-skinned and made his name Ken for the game, because Street Fighter 2 was so huge.
Yeah.
And the NES was like, we want to sell this game that nobody else would play if it wasn't for that. I love the game objectively, and I played it as a kid, and it is very hard, but it is the last thing from Street Fighter, aside from if you get enough power-ups, you can throw what looks to be a projectile.
Yeah.
And so when New Year's 2010 was happening, I was like, this is the year. This is Street Fighter 2010. You're going to walk outside, and you're going to see Cyborg Ken, and you're going to see like what looks to be the video game. So I was like, what's the dumbest thing I can do? So I put together I had to have done it on SRK. I can't remember how I did it, but people came. And I couldn't believe that people came. That's how I first met Dan. So I threw it out there that I wanted to have a lot of people play this game, and whoever got the furthest in this game would get a prize, and I don't remember what the prize was. But I went to Exclusive Company and eBay, and I got as many copies of that game as I could, and I got as many CRTs as I could, and I had like 8 setups for Street Fighter 2010, which is probably the most that has ever existed for that game at any time. And we played in some people that came out. I think Matt, Foot Meets Skull, Matt Severson, he brought in some people, and I met some people that are now long-standing in the FGC because of that barely fighting game related thing.
That one little bit.
Yeah, and then I was like, wait a minute, people will come over and play video games with me, and I'm like, maybe I can do this weekly. So after that, I was like, well, Street HDR is pretty big, and Street Fighter 4 is just releasing, and people seem to be into this. And I started hosting in River West on Sundays. And it seemed to be a very good day for it, and everybody came out. Like, it was a small place. It's River West. You can imagine the size of the apartments there. So I had, at most, there would sometimes be, like, around, like, 24 people, and, like, there would be, like, sweat. Like, the kitchen floor would be, like, sweating on, like, the linoleum. And there would be, like, setups everywhere, setups in the kitchen, setups, and it was all CRTs. It wasn't, like, the luxury flat screens that we could just pick up like nothing.
Yeah, you're carrying 40-pound TVs upstairs.
Yeah. So I did that a couple, on a Sunday, and I'm like, is this something people want to do? Is this a regular thing people want to do? And they kept coming. And you give me a lot of credit by saying that I provided something that for the scene to stay together, but it was really just me being selfish enough to be like, I need people to play video games with, and then they came. And I was able to sit across from, I had both. I had the friends that either I met online, the friends that I had always had, and then I had the strangers that you can get from the arcade experience, people you meet for the first time, and they sit down next to you, and you don't have to worry about internet lag, and you just play. And I was like, this is it. This is what I want. And I met people like Brother Man, who has always played Sean in Third Strike. He's like the only player that I could be like, let's play Third Strike. Always. He will always play. And I got to give he's my biggest rival. I shit on Brother Man all the time. But he is, like, I can always count on him, whether it is like a torrential downpour. It could be below zero. He will ride his bike for miles to play Third Strike with me. And I've never been as appreciative as I should be. So this is me doing that for Brother Man live on air for all to see.
For real though, you're not the only one that gives Brother Man shit, and he is far and above the most realist person on the planet.
Oh yeah.
Like he there's no bullshit.
Oh yeah.
And he loves fighting games so much that, to your point, nothing will stop him from showing up.
He will be there. He will be there. And it got to the point where, so I hosted from late 2009 until I moved out of my last apartment last summer, thankfully coinciding with this, with what you're doing. And it was time to, grow up and settle down a little bit. So and throughout that entire time, which is what, how many years is that? Is that 14, 15 years?
Yeah.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
And when you say it out loud, it feels like a long time. He was always there, no matter what. Even like when stuff got rough for like COVID, he was always there. And that was another thing, is every time I moved, like, I would be like, where can I do what I do?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like settle for a studio. Where can I do what I do? And then I found the place, which was the place you were at the last time you had been over, and then COVID hit. And it was just like, it hurts so much because the 20 people I had during like your Street Fighter 4 times weren't there. They weren't present for what was the best venue that I had to make it happen. But thankfully, you have been able to do this. And I know that you said that I kept it running, but I had never had a competitive focus. I was always going to the events, like when we did the tracks and then we moved on to Romines on the south side, and it was still organized by Matt Severson, and then it got pretty big. Like people would start traveling. We would start seeing Chicago at these tournaments, and it was a pretty big deal. But the casual side of the play is where I kept it together. We had a drought for the tournament play. That's what you provided, and we had a drought for the 3D. I'm not a great 3D player. I'm not a great 2D player, but I'm extra not a great 3D player. It was always available to play. We always had the setups, but it ended up being a 2D focused thing.
Yeah.
And you successfully managed to get 2D and 3D players together, which hadn't happened in a very long time. And now that we have this together, it's really incredible. So I appreciate the credit that you give me, but I'm really just like a guy that wanted to play games with somebody, and I got lucky for 14, 15 years.
You're incredibly humble to say it that way, because I do think you deserve the credit that we're giving you, because I'm not the one that came up with that phrase. Like that's not like a clickbait title that I came up with.
Okay,
No,
I really assumed it was.
Absolutely not. Like this is stuff that like I have gathered throughout the scene, and I do have to give a quick shout out to Jimmy Pikachu Choi, up in Madison, because he's been running stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
For forever. And he's been holding it down, and like up there in Madison or in Fitchburg where he runs like 10-pin and stuff. And I actually want to get him on here eventually as well, because
that'd be great.
He's got so many stories and like he's made all of those connections with the people that you were discussing, like the ones that were prime 3D scene.
Yeah,
you know, like
for sure.
Like Mateo and
Sammy and
Anthony Carmona and like all those guys. God, Anthony. All right, yeah, like he that was my first experience in actually playing against a actual pro player was Antonio C.
Ooh.
We went to the same college for a short time.
Oh wow!
And
how'd you do?
I was talking trash because like I mentioned before before we started that I had big fish small pond syndrome, where I was just like, nobody can touch me in Tekken. Nobody can touch me. And he overheard me because we had one shared class, and he's just like, "You sure about that?" And I'm like, I'll bring Tekken 6. I'll bring it. We'll play it over there in the lounge. And yeah, I got the work.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
He hit me with probably my favorite line that I've ever received from playing somebody in a fighting game. It was, you're not as awful as I thought you'd be.
Ooh, that hurts on different levels.
Honestly though, for somebody who is like that good, and then I found out like just how much like he actually traveled and played stuff and like placed and things. Like he wasn't like like a top placement, but he wasn't bad by any means.
No.
He was very solid.
Yeah.
So like to have somebody of that caliber say like, you don't know what you're doing, but you're not complete shit, was actually low key a compliment for me.
Well, there you go.
So I was like, all right,
Yeah, you take what you can get. See, I was lucky enough to have the opposite, the opposite type of reinforcement. I've always played with players that do not sugarcoat things, and it was a lot of the 3D players. 3D players do not sugarcoat.
No, absolutely.
So like and as many times as I would say like I'm good to average or average to better or whatever, I would get slammed right back down and be like, you're garbage. And you need to hear you need to hear your trash.
100%.
You need to hear your trash. If you start believing hype that is not there about yourself, like you'll never improve. And I haven't improved either way, but I still like I realize that I'm not a good player, and that's fine because I don't have the goals of being a great player. I have the goals of having fun.
100%. And like that's why I'm in this too. Like this space is, I want this space to be a hybrid. I want this place to be some place that you can come and just press buttons if you want to, but also utilize it as the hyperbolic time chamber for you to be able to train up and actually go to majors and perform well if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
But if you want to just come out here and hang and yap on mics and like press buttons with people, that's what I do. That's what I love.
Oh yeah.
So like trying to find a hybrid way to like make all of that homogenized together, that's what resulted in this place.
That's awesome.
And this place would not have existed had you not fostered that with your offline Street Fighter 2010 meetup, bro. Like that's just so wild to me that it all started with Street Fighter 2010.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's
and
hilarious.
Some people listening were there. I guarantee you.
100%.
Some people listening
There's
were
a
there.
few shout outs in the chat. We got Foot Meat Skull is in the chat.
Awesome. Oh, very good.
That's so sick, man. Yeah, and I didn't come to the you said you've been doing it for 15 years. How many venue changes did you have? Like how many apartment spots did you have?
So it started in a Polish flat in River West where we flooded it because we put in a putting green which blocked the water entry, and so that's a whole other story. And I had to leave because we flooded it. But prior to the flooding, we had the Street Fighter 2010 party. We hosted there, and we did the HDR and the Street Fighter 4, and I think Calamity Trigger was out at the same time. So there were a couple of Blaze Blue players.
Yeah.
I didn't know what people wanted to play, so I was like, I threw on like a jailbroken Dreamcast disc of like Mortal Kombat 4 Gold, and I'm like, anybody want to play? No, they did not. So we did our thing there, and then I stayed in River West because I worked at Hernia Movers, and I didn't drive at the time. So for those of you listening that carted my ass around for years, much appreciated. I owe you a lot. I stayed in River West, moved around the corner to a place on Wheel, moved upstairs in the same building, and then moved around the corner again. So I was in, I think, 4 or 5 different places on Wheel.
Okay.
And then there was a place on Fratney, I think. River West is just kind of like a haze to me. You know, it's like it was a lot of the same. Like it becomes one building to me if I try to like mentally walk through it.
That's fair.
It was almost every year or every 2 years I moved.
Okay.
And when I moved to Walker's Point, I was like, I'm going to lose everybody. You know, I was like, I don't know if people are going to come. And I moved into the lower unit of the place you had seen me last, which was huge. And I was like, this is it. You know, I have roommates, but this is it. And I had a lot of setups, and we had essentially the whole down the whole first floor, and it was awesome. It was great, and people came out to that. And then I can't remember where I moved, and then I moved back to the same building into the upstairs where you saw me last. And then now I live with my girlfriend, who I've been with for the last like 12 years. Yeah. So she's been very patient, very patient. I have nothing but like amazing things to say about her level of patience for what I've put her through weekly for years doing this. Like, I'm going to do my thing on Sundays, and then it became a Tuesday thing. So it was like, it definitely, I can't believe she held out. I can't believe she held out. But now she's got me full time, you know, for better or worse.
Well, if she's watching, thank you. Appreciate you. And Joe, also the Joe of all time, made sure that I had to give a shout out to Cheeto.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's appreciated. Had a dog for many years. He was, most of you guys listening, if you know me, lost Cheeto last year, but he was always there for every weekly get together, and he loved to get involved. So definitely great to hear that name again. Yeah. And Joe's another thing that is great about this is Joe came in while I was hosting still, but yeah. I am still meeting new friends and new players. So what I had gotten out of the hosting process, I'm still able to get by your continuation. Like all these new players that are awesome, and like I'm like people that have skill levels that you didn't see that when I was in my 20s, at least as regularly. Yeah. You know, and it's great to meet new people and to have that bond immediately. Like, we are in this building for one reason. You know, we know why we're here, and we already can get past the small talk of our interests, and now we can just get to know each other for real, you know? And it's awesome. I love that. And I think we have, like you were saying, like about Brother Man, we have like just the most genuine people here.
Yeah, like it's one thing that I really have found a lot of, like, I'm really happy with in the FGC community, and like I appreciate a lot, is people that don't pass the vibe check get phased out real quick.
Yeah.
Because they just like, everyone here kind of has a collective, like, just don't start shit.
Yeah.
Like, we're all here to be chill, we're all here to hang out, we're all here to have a good time, and if you cause too many waves, they just push your ass back to shore. Right. We're still hanging out on the boat.
Right, you know? right.
So like, it's one thing that I'm like incredibly appreciative about the scene as a whole is like that. Yeah, the ones that don't fit the vibe, they just see themselves out.
Yeah,
it's fantastic, and like it keeps like our core group super cool, super welcoming, super chill, and like people that aren't, they go do what they got to do somewhere else.
Right, and a lot of that happened for me as well. It was either people that would get a little too aggro, or people that would just do weird stuff that is just, you know, not socially like acceptable.
Yeah.
And eventually it happened to coincide with they don't like the games as much as us. So that's a win.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, it's dope.
if they want to stop playing games, I don't have to put up with their like inability to adapt to this environment, and it does work itself out.
And I've noticed too, fighting games have they have a very strange, almost therapeutic quality to them.
Yeah.
Where usually if somebody's having or exhibiting like those kinds of like behaviors, it's because there's an underlying issue, and the fighting game tends to bring it to the forefront so that it can actually be addressed.
Yeah.
Like we've had a few of those situations in this scene where we try and bring that to a head so that we can confront it.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people have been able to move past it. Some people don't.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that see themselves out.
Yeah.
But like it's really cool to see like people once again just shouting out all the cool fucking people in this community. Like they're all here to want to see the best version of the people that they're hanging around with.
Yeah.
Like everyone's here for a genuine reason to like just help each other, hang out, and have a vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And like usually those kind of like outbursts, like it's something that needs to be addressed and like has just been kind of put off.
Yeah.
And we're a group of people that's not going to just let that shit slide. So,
Right. Right. I mean, we all have our weaknesses. I pop off when I know that I'm bested, and I try to make an excuse, like, you know, like my character can't do X, Y, Z. I did it yesterday. I did it against Will yesterday. Like, I'm a whiner. It happens, you know, because like I'm sure that there are no like honest losers when you're in your match and you're like. At the time, you're like, I should have won. Like, just, you know, there's no guilty people in jail. Like, it's everybody's an innocent man. So it wasn't my fault I lost, you know, but, and it happens. It definitely happens. But Will's another person that I would not know if it wasn't for Matt Severson, Foot Meat Skull, organizing the tournaments. And he helped me move a pinball machine up my stairs yesterday. And that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for all of these years that we had put together. And then, you know, you get lucky enough if you're me and you meet people that have like a cross-pollination of interests. Like Joe, one of my favorite people on earth, loves wrestling as much as I do. And we can sit and watch wrestling and play video games, and it's like the greatest time ever. Yep. You know, like I never would have imagined when I threw up that post on the SRK forums that I was going to be making friends that would be lasting. You know, I was like, maybe someone will want to play a game with me and we'll meet somewhere where there's like a LAN center in public or something, but then people wanted to just hang out and have it be chill and do what we did then, what we're continuing to do here. And the people are out there, they exist.
100%.
And they will stay interested, you know? And I'm extremely lucky. I'm extremely lucky, and I need to support this place more. I need to make an effort. You know, I know that you've been more than gracious with everything that you've done, but there is no justification for me not being here for every single thing that you do, considering how many times I've begged for the last 14, 15 years to have people just show up at my house where I literally do nothing but show up at where I live and wait for people to play video games with me. So
I feel like there's a little bit more involved in that.
Well, I you know, as much as we get older, as much as real life takes over, I do want to take it upon myself to make sure that I come out, because this is an amazing time to be a fighting game fan. Like, every game, at least on the surface level, is fun. Like,
100%.
There's no game where I play it and I'm like, I don't like this experience. You know, even if I'm getting destroyed, it's like, I have fun playing this game. And there's such a variety of games to play. People are like rabid about the games they love. And it's essentially what I wanted back then, where I was like, let's play a slew of 90s arcade games that we don't know and just have fun. And now we can do that with the amount of games that are out that are contemporary. Yeah. Like, there's so many games out, and, you know, nobody has the amount of time to really delve in, but it's the same experience all over again. We have the rebirth essentially of like the 90s explosion of 1v1 2D fighting games. It's enormous right now. And every time I see a new video about a game I didn't hear about, I'm just like, this looks crazy. Like, and it's not like povertyware. It's like that. What I'm looking at looks really well put together, and I had never heard of it until now. If you like watch a Justin Wong video, he's playing some ridiculous thing you've never heard of that is new and about to come out, and it's like, guess I have to throw down another $60, you know. But I'm going to do that willingly and with a lot of excitement, and hopefully people want to play, and they will, which is great.
It's like that's one thing I kind of want to go back and touch on a little bit, because you started running stuff kind of around that Street Fighter 4 launch time, and there's a lot of younger players in the scene, like in the area now, that don't understand the drought that was leading up to Street Fighter 4, and just how much of an absolute fucking phenomenon Street Fighter 4 was. Because before that, fighting games were dead.
I agree with you. 3D players will disagree, and I am currently having this argument on a Tekken chat with the 3D heads because I wasn't living it at the time, you know, because I was never a 3D focused player, but I felt the drought, you know, at the turn of the century. Using that phrase really dates me, but at the turn of the century, it all stopped. You know, like you had a few games that came out in like 2001, and then like there was no 2D. It just died, and it just didn't exist. And then Street Fighter 4 started developing, HDR started developing, and it was amazing. Like, as much as I have issues with Street Fighter 4, that game really did bring people together for 2D. Not speaking on behalf of 3D. That's not my world. I don't want to piss the wrong people off. But for 2D, it really did make a huge impact.
Look, as somebody who, like, Tekken is and always has been my favorite fighting game.
Oh, nice.
I'm not one that, well, okay. The game that got me into fighting games in general was X-Men vs. Street Fighter, sorry.
Oh, okay.
X-Men vs. Street Fighter, because I came across it at a church festival.
Nice.
And I was walking past the arcade tent that they had, and I just heard the announcer just pierce through everything. And I heard the Shinku Hadouken, and I was just like,
oh yeah,
what the hell was that? And that's what I spent the entire weekend at that cabinet. But Tekken 3 was like the game that grabbed me and never let go.
Okay.
And then I skipped over Tekken 4 and then Tekken 5, and then everything else I was just like, I was in on it. To that point, 3D games were around, and 3D games are part of the reason why all of the 2D games died, is because everybody started to try and like force.
That's true.
3D.
That's true.
So like, but they never hit that same level.
Right.
And like, old 3D heads can get mad at me if they want to, but they never reached that same level.
I agree with you, and like I said, I'm having this argument currently, and my go-to like argument for this stance is I had a MAME cabinet at one time. I know you've played it. Recently dismantled it, RIP. But I still have the computer. It just I have to make it smaller. And
that's fair.
So if you scroll through that, and it didn't have everything, but like there are hundreds of fighting games that are 2D that I didn't know existed until I got the MAME cab. And then I'm playing stuff like Martial Masters, you know, Chinese fighting game that is incredible.
It's so good.
It's so good, and no one knows about it, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much out there, and then, you know, you have your 3D giants, and I'm sure there's a million 3D games that I am not aware of. I still dig, and I find stuff that, like, you know, for the Saturn that never came out over here. There was one game, I think it was called Twin Sisters. If Brandon is listening, he will have a story about this where it was a 3D fighter that you had health and you also had gold, and you can you can win the match by having more gold and less health than the opponent, which is hilarious. And we had no idea it was going to happen, and it did happen. But yeah, there's all kinds of stuff out there that was 2D. Like, it was inundated. Like, the 90s, 2D killed itself with the amount of games that were out at the time.
Fair enough.
And it was, and I hope that we don't get that way now. But the amount of 3D games in comparison, unless I am completely unaware of like a trove of stuff that is not known to me, it just doesn't compare. You know?
And I think it's because like you had a lot of like the high profile series try to convert to 3D,
Yeah.
and it just didn't work.
Yeah.
And I think that was that was probably the bigger catalyst for that downfall than the inundation of 2D titles.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those 2D titles, they didn't come over here.
Right.
And they didn't come over here because they saw what happened to the ones that tried to do 3D that were successful, and then they're just like, oh, well, people don't want that anymore then.
Yeah.
So they just never released it over here, which if they did, probably would have actually been pretty good. Because, like, bro, if we got Slap Happy Rhythm Busters here,
Love that game.
I'd have, man.
Yeah, I had no idea about it. Brother Man brought it over. I'm like, where has this been hiding? You know, but there were still like gasps of 2D still being amazing. Like, I remember renting like the first Guilty Gear on PlayStation 1 and being like, where is more of this? You know, and I wish there was more, and there probably is, that I just haven't even touched the tip of the iceberg on. But yeah, I agree. There's a lot of bad 3D versions of 2D properties that you know, it doesn't translate.
And it doesn't even need to be that they're like straight up bad.
Yeah.
They can just be mediocre.
Right.
They can just be like not quite right.
Right.
And then it just tanks the entire like perspective
Sure.
purchasing of it. Like Psychic Force is one that comes to mind.
Yeah.
Where it's like, is it a bad game? No. Is it a great game? Also no. But when you're that mid, you're not gonna move sales numbers, and then
Sure.
you're just gonna abandon it. And like I think a lot of that had to do with it. It's like just how influential Street Fighter 4 was, and like how pivotal that was. Like, cause that was a very much a rising tide raises all ships situation.
Yeah.
So like whether 3D gamers want to believe it or not, like Street Fighter 4's success helped the whole entire community so much.
Yeah.
Like,
None of this would exist otherwise.
Yeah, I don't think words can even get close to understanding just how much.
Yeah, it was huge. It was absolutely huge. And I will play the game, and I will do mid to okay at the game. Even at release, I disliked the game because of the risk-reward idea behind it. Like, and a lot of the older guys listening will agree with me. When I found out you had 4 frames to hit a reversal as opposed to 1, I was like, what game is this? You know, and a game that is based on nailing your 1-frame links to get your damage while your opponent is mashing potatoes trying to get their 4-frame reversal in, mashing through your hit stun, mashing through your block stun. Like, it doesn't matter. They're mashing, and it's gonna work. So like, part of the meta has to be baiting out their 4-frame reversal. That is not the kind of game I want to play. You know.
That's fair.
But it exists.
Yeah.
But now, there's a video series which I encourage people to watch. I think it's called 16 Years of Street Fighter 4, or This is What 16 Years of Street Fighter 4 Looks Like. Search that on YouTube, and you'll see people doing stuff that I did not know was possible. Like, everybody knows about like FADC cancel into Ultra. That's your bread and butter.
Yeah.
That's how you land it, you know, unless you're Ryu and you have like 27 ways to land it. But there's stuff where guys are just like fishing for a counter hit medium punch and then link to Ultra, and it works. And I'm like, where was that in 2010? You know, like, that kind of stuff would make people lose their minds if they had seen it at the time. But people are still breaking that game open, which is, I didn't think it had the depth it does. And like I said, fundamentally, I'm not a fan of the game, just based on the risk-reward mechanic and what that does to your opponent. It's more about what it does to your opponent than anything. but the fact that there are still people breaking it open is awesome. There's more there than I thought, and
so that actually is a great segue into another topic I wanted to talk about. Like, how do you see the difference between the modern fighting game learning landscape versus when like all of this, like when you first started all of this with like Street Fighter 4? Like, give me a snapshot of the comparison between the two, because I have my own opinions on it, but I'm very curious to see yours because you were so much more involved with that scene than I was.
Right. Well, we had the same resources for Street Fighter 4 that we do now. We had YouTube. I remember like watching a tutorial from Mike Z on how to play Calamity Trigger, and get real Soviet damage.
Yeah.
I remember that. And
I remember that line.
yeah, and so it existed when people came in for Street Fighter 4. It was there, but the amount of stuff that is at your disposal immediately upon release was not. Like, people didn't break the frames down immediately like they do now. Like, a game releases, you have your frame data right away.
Yeah.
And people didn't focus on frame data for like Street Fighter 4. And even like Third Strike to an extent. Like, frame data, like the way we concentrate on it now, it wasn't really that big a thing unless you were a 3D player. Like Tekken, huge. You absolutely need it.
100%. Yeah.
And you need it for every game now, for sure, to know what you're doing, to know whether or not it's a good idea. But before, it was a lot of trial and error and finding out what is safe, what is unsafe. There were universal things that were unsafe, like you don't want to do like a crouch roundhouse, dead nuts in front of someone and have them block it. That's going to be unsafe for everybody. But as far as like, am I plus like 3? Am I plus 4? You didn't know, and you had to wait for those resources to come out. But as far as like the philosophy to how the games are played, I could tell you a lot more about how modern players are, and it's going to ruffle some feathers, and I'm not trying to get in any fights, but I feel like offense, as much as games are more like unga bunga now, like we can all agree across the board, people do not respect offense when they're defending like they used to. Like, when you were in block stun in the older games, like, you did not hit buttons.
Yeah.
Like, you were gonna get blown up. And nowadays, regardless of if you're in block stun or if you're in hit stun, people are hitting buttons because they're not respecting your offense. They want their turn. Nobody likes to block. Nobody likes to feel like they're not on the offense, so they're waiting to just mash their turn in, and that's because of Street Fighter 4, unfortunately. And I like I said, it's a completely different, because you were in block stun a lot longer in like Street Fighter 2, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if you're playing like Third Strike and you block an air attack, if you block like a jumping roundhouse, and you try to like hit throw or something when they land, or try to hit jab when they land, you are gonna get fucked up. And like, people still like will still be trying to hit buttons when, like, I notice if I have a gap in my string, and then there's an immediate attack, like, I know what you're doing, like, but like, it is what it is, and play to win. By all means, play to win.
Yeah.
Like, if you have some scrub tactic that gets you that trophy, take it. Like, there were people that when HDR was on like Xbox 360, there were people that would like rotate with the D-pad while rotating with the thumb pad to get like easy standing 720s. Do it.
Yeah.
It's there.
That's, I mean, I can't remember the source, but I think that was something that somebody called out Daigo doing.
Yeah.
In like some tournament, and he's just like, yeah, like, of course I do that. Why wouldn't I do that?
Right. What do you mean? You're not doing it? That being said, the way the luxuries that we have now, when the one Aladdin's Castle tournament I made it to before they closed the door, it was a Third Strike tournament held by Andrew Norton, who to this day is the best third strike player I've seen in person. Amazing Ken player. He would just know what you were going to do, and that is a game where you will win if you know what your opponent is going to do.
100%.
And he ran the tournament on the Anniversary Collection, which I mentioned before, the PlayStation 2 game, and he did not allow macro mapping. So like, that's a game, that was one of the first games with EX moves, right?
Yeah.
You have to hit your 3 punch or your 3 kick. Yeah. And you had to do weird stuff to get that to happen on a pad. And there were people that had sticks. It was rare, but you had it. There were people that had it, and he didn't allow macro mapping. You could not map like your shoulder buttons to be a 3 kick or a 3 punch. You couldn't do it. Huh. And nowadays, like, you can do a lot of things you could not back then. And like the idea of the hitbox, I still am having trouble processing with a whole other argument, but it's
it's daunting you.
Yeah. But like I love the fact that we are allowing people to have more avenues to play. As much as it might frustrate me to see the advantages taken that I am not willing to, it's because they want to win more than me. They earned that win, right? So if they want to go ahead and take advantage of mechanics that exist, and I am not, because I've taken the more honorable path, I'm the loser. I'm still the loser,
So my fighting game journey started a little bit later, but I fell in the same, like, the beginning of that period where it's like you don't change the default controls.
Yeah.
Because if you do, then you're a punk.
You're right.
You clearly get good. Use the default. If you can't move your fingers like that, sucks to suck, nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that is the era that I started my journey in, and now I am fully embraced in the modern journey where it's just like, yeah, put whatever buttons you want. I don't care.
Right.
And it's like, it's so interesting to me to see that kind of take that natural progression.
Sure.
It's so, because I feel so strongly about both camps.
Yeah.
Because I started there in the, why can't you just do it with the default buttons, bro?
Right. Right.
To, well, yeah, but we got all these new things that make it feel more comfortable. Like, if it feels more comfortable, then just do it. Like, I don't care. It's like, I'm in this, I have no home.
Yeah.
I go between both a lot.
I crossed the Rubicon myself. So I'm with you. I am the type to play Mega Man games and not use the Robot Master's weapons on the stages. I wait till I get to the boss. Like, I will go through with the pea shooter, and I am a default controls guy. I never mapped supers and Tekken to one button. Mm-hmm. Never did that, but I struggle with the new Fatal Fury game to do feints, at least to do it in the way that, like, I'm familiar with in Garou. Mm-hmm. It's not the same.
No, it's
and
not.
I have the way to do it with my character. I struggle, and I realize, like, I grind. I don't have time to grind, but like when I do practice, I can hit it, and I'm okay. And then I have matches with Will, and I cannot feint cancel, and you get your damage from the feint cancel. And so I swallowed my pride, and I mapped the feint to one button, and it's the only time it's that button, this one right there.
It's
the only time I've ever had this button in a fighting game. And my pinky does not want to go there. Believe me, it doesn't want to go there. But I can hit the combo now, and it's like, all right, I've crossed over. Now I've opened the gates. Now it's like everything is allowable because now I've done it. Can't complain.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Oh my god. I can still vividly remember the amount of just like basement conversations I had with my friend of like, oh, you gotta set a custom control scheme, all right, bud? Like, oh my god. And,
it's like putting turbo on. You know? It's the same thing, right?
Yeah, the dishonor.
Yeah.
Go in the corner and commit seppuku.
Yeah.
It's just so funny.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But now it's like whatever gets you to sit across from me. Like, if you need that to play, let's play.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
That's why we got friggin' 12 of these within eyesight of us right now.
Yeah.
Every control scheme under the sun.
And Jeremy, you know Jeremy, he's come a few times. One of the coolest guys I've ever met. And he built me a hitbox.
Oh.
And I have yet to really get into it. Because, like, I'm still I struggle with learning games. Like, I'm still, as old as I am, it takes me a while to, like, get comfortable with a character. And then you throw this in the mix, and as much as I know this will help, it's still such a learning curve for me. Like, I'm not ready. And he spent his time to build me that stick. Or not a stick, the box.
Yeah.
He spent his time building that box, and I've yet to really get into it. And it's, you know, I feel bad for that. And he said, like, as long as you use it, man, we're cool. And he said that to me, and I'm just totally, like, not fulfilling my end of the bargain. But I'm more than willing to put it in because, like, you know, I don't like to lose. You know, nobody likes to lose. And
True.
I don't think this is an insta-win at all.
No.
But
like all of the backlash that it got when they like first started to come out, where it's just like oh, we're just allowing cheaters to win now.
Right.
Like, all right, bud, let's chill. Because especially like coming from playing pad my entire life to putting my hands on one of these, I was just like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Like this hand has no idea what it's doing.
Right. And you know, if you're a keyboard player, then I understand
it feels a little bit more, but like that's why I vibe more with the like the mix box.
Mm-hmm.
And when the Hot 42 like started to like really become a thing, like when they really started to like break into the scene, then they have the little keyboard controller.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually playing more Street Fighter 6 on that than I was on pad.
Oh wow!
Because something about it just felt nice.
Yeah.
Except for when you go to a place that doesn't have tables.
Sure.
Because if I have to put that little credit card size thing on my lap, it's not working.
I'm a lap player. I the stick goes on the lap. That's what I do. So yeah, anything that would be small, I couldn't do it.
Like that's part of the reason why I still just like I won't go to any of these, because like the only one that really that fits that kind of like comfort level for me is the oh my god, what is that thing called? I'm pretty sure it's a Kwamba, but it's the PS3, PS4 era one.
Okay.
It's just like a giant slab.
Yeah, there you
It's
go.
just
The
this
Steel
giant-
Battalion.
Yeah,
like,
the giant like flat freaking solid steel.
Sure.
Like
it's not moving.
yeah, they just
You
ripped
know?
the freaking Vuelix panel off.
There you
like
go.
that's it. Like that thing. There's very few people in the scene that have one. I think Hunchy still uses that one.
Oh, okay.
But like that thing was like the only arcade stick where I was like,
Yeah.
that's probably one I could do, because I could put it here and it would be like, oh yeah, I brought my own table, thanks.
There you go.
You know?
Yeah, it's got like the golden key ball in the center. You know, just bring the whole setup.
Oh, I would so bind that to Rage Art.
Oh hell yeah!
T-ball.
Hey, one of our players, you know, Nate Shepard.
Yeah.
Yeah, grumpy old Nate.
Yep, grumpy Uncle Nate. Yep.
He wanted to play with. He does racing games, and he wanted to map the drive impact in Street Fighter 6 to the brake. Because like he was like, I can see the green, but my fingers don't want to react to it, but I know what would. You know, if you see a traffic accident that's about to happen, you're gonna do that. So like the traffic accident of a drive impact coming at you, hell yeah, I'm gonna step on that brake.
That's
you know?
so hype, and I love that.
I would love it if you would have put it together. There's still time. Nate, if you're listening, put it together. We all want to see it.
It's one of the like subgenres of fighting games that I have come to love over the years. Is like all just like the wacky custom controllers that people will use, and like the dude that played in it was some Canadian tournament like last year or maybe the year before that, where he got like third or fourth place using the Guitar Hero controller.
Oh yeah.
And like there was one that actually used the steering wheel. I don't think he had the pedals though.
Oh man.
Like with the pedals, the pedal idea is great. I love that. But like just like the creativity that people have of like putting all those things together. And then I dip my toes into that stupid nonsense by making the pumpkin controller.
Oh,
and,
I need to see it.
Well, she's
Pictures.
dead She's dead and rotted now, but I have pictures.
Awesome.
Yeah, the pumpkin box. And then Justin Wong retweeted it and was asked if it worked. And I was like, oh, fuck, I actually have to make this thing work. All I did was just cut holes and put the buttons in, I guess. That was the bit. And he's like, but does it work, though? I'm like, well, now I got to make it work. So
And
I did wire it up, and it was playable for
Amazing.
about a week.
Perfect.
It survived. It survived roundhouse tag.
Did
And
you play as Jacko with it? You gotta do that at least once.
there was at least one picture of someone playing Jacko with the
Perfect.
pumpkin controller.
You need it.
And like the ergonomics were pretty good, you know.
Okay,
'cause
you might be
kinda-
onto something.
You can hold on to it like this. That's like shout out to Bobbert. He moved to Minnesota now, but like the first time that he came to one of the tournaments that we ran at Tier 1, he had the box controller, but it was literally like it was essentially like an enclosure that you would put like someone's ashes in. It was like this little like lockbox receptacle that he just had buttons on, and I came over to him. He's just sitting there playing. It was either Uni or Melty Blood in the corner. I can't remember which one. And then I was just like, hey, you want to play? It was Melty Blood. It was
Okay.
type Lumina.
Okay.
Because I was like, hey, you want to play? And I sat down next to him. I look over. I'm like, the hell is that box? It's got like the little latches on it.
I love that.
Opens up. And I'm like, that thing was hilarious. And then I don't know. I'm pretty sure he still got it.
Nice.
But that thing was like, just the contraptions that I see people play on now.
Jeremy made one out of a chessboard that opens up.
See?
Yeah.
That shit's so cool.
It's so cool.
And like people that make like the cigar box guitars and
Yeah.
stuff. Like I have a bunch of cigar boxes. I should just make like a little snack box.
There you go.
You know, cigar box, and then you open it up. It's got the humidor inside, and it's good.
There you go.
All right, hold on.
Yeah, if you put a good pickup in it, it doesn't matter what's going on. You're good.
So speaking of which, we're gonna segue away from FGC just for a little bit.
Okay.
Because while I was preparing for this, I saw just how, because the first time I went to your place, I noticed all the guitars, and I noticed all the equipment, and we never really like dove in past that because we were too busy playing fighting games and watching wrestling and just
Hell
chilling. But in preparation for this, in order to get your photo, I found out you've been in a multitude of bands,
I have.
and you play music that I tend to enjoy.
Oh,
So, can you talk a little bit about how like either that coincided with your FGC journey, or like how did that
Sure.
start?
well, it's I've always been into like I said, horror movies. So it all ties into the fighting games with like the visceral aspect of fighting, and especially like fatalities. You know, in 1992, seeing Johnny Cage punch someone's head off. Like, yes, I am here for this. And I gravitated towards death metal when I was a kid, and the resources then to find it were not plentiful at all.
Were
Like,
you a LimeWire or a BearShare? Or
I was a buy the CD.
Oh,
and just
you were
hope-
actually go to exclusive company and hope it's good, right?
Yeah, I'd look at a cover and be like, here's my hard-earned $12 and hope that it works. And thankfully, because it was a great period for that genre, I didn't have too many bad purchases.
Too many misses.
Yeah. So around the same time, I got fully immersed in fighting games. I think I got my first guitar when I was like 14 or 15. So that had to have been like maybe like Alpha 1 time,
Okay, yeah.
maybe around then. So I was definitely playing video games while trying to learn guitar, and I gravitated towards metal, and I still am very much into metal as much as I could tell you. So that would take another many hours to talk about the state of metal, which I won't do. But I still love the spirit of what that genre can represent, and what it can do. And tying into what is going on in the FGC is it had boundless creativity. Like, as much as there were bands that would like grab onto the sound of another one, they never did it the same. So like, we have a million 2D games now, but like, they're all different from each other in their own way. So I loved that freedom of metal, and I love that you know, like if you turn on the radio, you hear a pop song, you know what to anticipate from the next song they're going to play for the most part. But that freedom in metal is what drew me to it, and like the idea that there is so much mystery to unlock. Like I felt the same way I did when I saw Mortal Kombat 2 in arcades, when like people had a dot matrix printout of the fatalities, and like, you know, you wanted to learn what mysteries the game had to offer. That's how I viewed metal. It was like there's so much I can do with just a guitar and an amplifier that, and I still feel that way. Like I still surprise myself with what I can write. And I know you said I didn't really bring it up much when we were playing video games, but I am not a self-promoter. Like that's my biggest Achilles heel, and I probably could have gotten much more of a following had I done so with fighting games. But I just want organically. I want things to happen organically. No one likes to check my band out guy. Everybody hates that guy. Everybody's busy. I'm busy. If I say, hey, I put out this, and I did. I put out a 14-minute song that has no repeating parts at all. This was my goal. I was like, I want to make something that is as challenging as possible. It has no repeating parts until the end, like not even parts of a phrase. Like it is totally linear. And I looked up if that exists, and unless there's something I couldn't find, it doesn't. And like there's always been some kind of repetition. People will say like, so what I'm describing is through composition. They call it through composed if there are no repeating parts, and people will talk about like Bohemian Rhapsody is a popular example of that. Yeah. But parts of phrases repeat in Bohemian Rhapsody. And I was like, I'm going to take it even more extreme and do like 14 minutes straight of nothing repeating, but still can have a continuous vibe. And that's the most recent thing I put out. And
is that the one that you just released in May?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so I try to spend as much time as I can writing music, and metal is the avenue for that. Like I can't sit down with 4 punk chords and be like, I want to make a non-repeating 14-minute passage. You can't do it. It's inherently limiting enough where you can't do it. So I've always been attracted to endless possibility, and fighting games, endless possibility. That's why I love Fatal Fury. I was talking to you about before we went live, the new game, like the endless possibility that the mechanics provide for defense that nobody is doing yet. Nobody is doing hyper defense, even on like the higher players are not doing it, and it's going to blow the game up. Like Third Strike, nobody is doing red parries 20-something years after the game's been released. You have 2 frames to take your turn. People still don't want to take the risk. But when they do, in maybe 5-10 more years, we're going to see a different meta. You know, we're going to see the game played differently, and you're going to see tiers that get buried by Ken and Chun suddenly have a chance because the mechanics of the system let you do it. So I see that in genres like metal, where I'm like, there is stuff that will always be able to be discovered, and I want to find it. You know, and I love that about that genre. So that's why I'm still old and making music. As much as every part of me should probably stop, I'm still doing it because there's still a lot left to do.
That's really cool. Like I really like the correlation there of like how those two kind of like go hand in hand. That's really cool. I've never thought about it that way, but hearing you say it makes so much sense.
Well, I just pulled it out of my ass just now. So.
Hell yeah!
But yeah, but there's truth. It's true, and I've always wanted to go further. And the next thing I'm working on, I bought a microtonal guitar. And so for those listening that know anything about guitar, if you pick up any guitar in any store, the frets are in the same place. The frets are where you put your finger behind. Yeah. Those are going to be universal, unless you're playing an extended scale guitar or something else. But you're still going to have your notes are going to be in those positions, and I want something else. So I found a guitar maker in Portland that made so you normally have 12 divisions of an octave in like Western music. Yeah. He came up with a guitar that he claims has 41 divisions of an octave, which is a little bit bullshit. But he's using semantics to like get there. You can get there. But essentially, he took the spacing on a guitar neck and recalibrated it so that if you go from like a low E to a high E, you have many more positions than the normal like 12 frets.
Okay.
You have a lot more. So you have, it's less space to work with, but now I can play like way different sounding music, you know, like Indian sounding music. I can hit those kind of scales that you couldn't before because we're not used to those tones.
Yeah.
And I'm like, now I want to do this in a metal context because like metal and ugly music, it works.
Yeah.
And like when you, because we're so used to that frequency range of like the Western style of music, when you feel those notes that are not in those pitches, you feel nauseated. Like you're not used to that. You know, it's a very seasick sounding like type of tone. So I'm like, that's what I want next. You know, and I'm like, nobody's gonna like it. That's what I want next.
I want to play some stuff that makes people physically ill.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And I got it, and I brought it to my luthier, who works on all my guitars, who I lived with in the last building that you saw when I was downstairs. And he was like, this guy cobbled this together in the most haphazard way. What did you buy? What did you buy? And he turned it into a playable instrument. But yeah, I'm already tracking with it, and it's crazy. It's like, here is another level. Like, and metal to me was already limitless, and now I'm like, give me more limitlessness, you know, and that's what I see in fighting games. And like, I know that now that we have this new renaissance, like, it's only gonna get even more boundless. Like, there's gonna be so much more as long as we have the player support, you know, and thanks to places like this, we have it, you know. So like, again, extremely grateful that you do what you do. And I would have never imagined that when I was trying to cobble together people coming over just to play games, that this would be possible. I never would have imagined it. So,
well, like, I echo the same sentiment because, like, when I first started playing fighting games and stuff, like, I lived out in the boonies, which is why I wasn't as active in like the Milwaukee scene at all, because I lived in a place where it took me 45 minutes to get anywhere. It took me 45 minutes to get like a gallon of milk from like the store. Like, and my parents, they didn't want to be driving me all over the place because like it's 45 minutes. And back then gas was expensive.
back then.
Back then. So like there's a few times, and then like later on I was able to bum rides off of like my sister and stuff because they would like to go to in the like strip mall that Aladdin's Castle was in. There was a TJ Maxx.
Okay.
So the sisters wanted to go to TJ Maxx. I want to go to Aladdin's Castle.
Oh yeah.
Like, I guess I'm bumming a ride. Let's go. So I had to get creative with like those things, but then I was also like too young to really insert myself in the scene.
Sure.
So like all of those kind of situations, like I never thought something like this would be possible. And also we came up in a time where high schools and colleges and stuff demonized video games.
Yeah.
Like anything that was an academic pursuit or something of like furthering your life, video games were the furthest thing from that.
Oh yeah.
And now we're living in a time where people that come here on a regular basis have full ride scholarships to prestigious universities just because they're really, really good at Street Fighter 6.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
you know, like, or insert game here. And like, the fact that those opportunities exist now is like, I couldn't have even fathomed that.
Right.
When I was their age.
And you were exactly right about the demonization. I had Tipper Gore on me for both metal and video games. Yeah. You know, we were told that this was going to create like a bunch of, you know, horrible criminal-minded people, and like I can't think of a more like safe area to be in than to be surrounded by a bunch of metalheads or video game players. You know.
Yeah.
So like the aggression you get out on the screen, that's the release. You know, that's what we need. That's it.
Sorry, Doom Dash in the chat just said that rumor has it that TJ Maxx is the reason Aladdin's Castle actually closed its doors. No! I'm sorry, I didn't mean it.
Hey man, I used to buy my space heaters from TJ Maxx, so I'm part of the problem.
That's so funny. I didn't mean it. I just needed a way to get out there. I swear.
At least you made it while it was open.
Yeah, I mean, I made it a few times. Probably similar time period actually that you were. It was kind of in its twilight, and I was never out there for any of their tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
It was just I'd go in and there'd be 4 people in the place, and I'm just like, all right, I'm playing Time Crisis, hell yeah, and just vibing. Nobody really wanted to come up and play any fighting games with me when I was there. But,
sure.
It's just the fact that I could still just walk over and there was a CBS 2 cabinet over there, and I was like, hell yeah, let me play some of this shit, and then get bopped by the 3rd CPU, and then all right,
right. Those were quarter munchers.
It was always after the 3rd one. The third one is when they're just like, all right, let's crank this difficulty up and get those quarters. Bro.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. But then if you put the quarter in, or the 50 cents in, or the $1 in, God forbid,
near the end,
then they loosen up a little bit on the computer difficulty for that round.
Yep.
You make it past them, and then you get beaten to oblivion again, and then you just they know, they got the system down.
And then SNK was the one that did the quarter buffs, right? For KOF, when
quarter buffs.
Yeah, so when you put in another credit and then you get to start the round with some kind of buff.
Oh man, I don't even know this.
It was I don't remember if it was a specific KOF, but there was definitely a few of them where when you do a restart, you could start with full meter, or opponent has half health, or all this these little incentives of yeah, but if I put a quarter in, I can definitely beat this.
That's how they get you.
Yeah, and they just kept feeding it more and more.
Let's bring it back, man. Every game should have combat codes from MK3 at the bottom. Let me just do that in every fighting game. Rand per combat, every game. Don't care.
That is one thing that I miss about the arcade kind of era in general, is the art on the marquees that showed you these are the key moves of the character that whoever you were gonna pick, and just little kind of Easter eggs like that. All the information is out there, but it wasn't presented in that kind of complete package way now, where now you have to deliberately seek it out.
And some of those, some of the new releases of the old games have that marquee on the where you can put that on. I love it too. It really does make you feel like you're back in that arcade, and just looking at the key list and being like, this. What do I do? I put my quarter in. What are my moves? Please help me get some moves.
Give me something.
Yeah. And God forbid you have a charge character and you're doing quarter circles for the whole round and not knowing.
It's not working. Nothing's
I want my money back.
But those. With the collections and stuff now, and I never thought we were gonna get a Capcom Fighting Collection 2 with Power Stone and Power Stone 2 and CBS, and all this stuff on it. I never thought we were gonna see that day.
Right.
You mentioned it before, and I don't think we can really overstate how much of a renaissance we're in.
Yeah.
Of just fighting games in general. Invincible's getting a new game.
Wow.
Like a tag fighter.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
There's so much just stuff that I never thought would happen is now happening. I never thought in a million years we'd get a Hunter x Hunter.
Right.
A Hunter x Hunter fighting game.
I saw a video of that. I'm like, where did this come from?
Aiding, doing aiding shit, jank ass tag fighter, but it looks like it's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know dick about Hunter x Hunter. Okay.
Yeah, me either.
I don't know. People swear that they like it, and I've tried to watch a little bit of it. I like anime, but not that much.
Sure.
I'm kind of I'm a very cursory anime enjoyer. So when people say that Hunter x Hunter and One Piece is peak and stuff, I'm just okay, sure, but
yeah,
but
I haven't even dipped my toe in. I don't know any of it.
Yeah, nothing. Okay, it's probably a safe.
But I'll play it.
Yeah, I'll play it.
I'm a poser, man. I played Negan in Tekken 7 without seeing a single episode of The Walking Dead. I don't care. I'll get in there.
So you whipped my ass with that Negan too.
I don't know about that.
It's the range thing. I couldn't figure it out.
But I was trash. And everybody listening will agree.
Sure, bud. All right. I'm good to yap for forever, But I kind of want to go to the chat, and if chat has any questions, I know somebody mentioned earlier, I believe it was only Joey, if you are willing, can you give the lore on Brother Man?
I can.
So I would say, if you're willing.
So now we've been playing a long time, so there's going to be fragments that I'm going to be trying to grab that I do not remember. But I swear my first time meeting him was at a get-together that Andrew Norton, the Third Strike player, put together. And I know Keats was there. You know who Keats is?
Yeah, I'm familiar with the name, yeah.
Okay, so he has a long history, too. I think he's part of Dive Kick, maybe. I can't.
Oh, okay.
But he was there, and there was a Sean player there that was just playing against the computer and, like, full parrying supers. And, like, this was a long time ago, you know? And so we started playing, and I don't remember how we must have, like, exchanged information there, or he saw my posts on SRK, but he started coming out, and you would ask his name. You ask people's names.
Yeah,
it's protocol. And he would tell you his name was Brother Man, and he would never tell you anything otherwise. And it took me many years to find out what his name is, and I am not going to reveal it. But
good, keep the mystery alive.
But he is like that. He there, as much as you say he is the genuine article, and he is, he still doesn't feel the need to divulge much. And that's respectable, you know. A lot of people have main character syndrome, and they're like, this is me, and he's not that. He's there to play the games, and he will chill with you, and he will be your friend, but he's not about to, like, spill himself to you. So part of that mystery was always there. Like, he would come on his bike from places where he wouldn't tell you, and he would not tell you his real name, and he would play video games in your apartment, and then he would leave and do it all again the next week for years. And if you were to give him a ride home, he would make you drop him off blocks away from where he lived, so you didn't see where he lived, because he did not want you to know. And there were a couple of times I would find myself in Cudahy for work, and I would see him walking, and he would be like, "Oh, the jig is up. He's going to see where I live," and then he would change direction. Like, he kept the mystery alive. And as much as his life is a mystery, I can always predict what he's going to do in game. And despite the predictions, I am going to lose to Wake Up Super over and over and over again. And I can't even begin to tell you guys how many times I have lost to a Brother Man Wake Up Super. And I know it's coming, but he will not give you an opportunity to hit him. So he trains you to want to take advantage of him being knocked down. And that's when he's strongest. He's strongest when he's knocked down and has no life. That's when he's strongest. He will take a beating. He plays like a grappler, where you take a beating to get in, and then you get in, and even though he's not playing a grappler, he's in, and he wins. And if you knock him down, he wins even harder, and it is so annoying, because there is, there's a shame attached, there's a scrubby shame attached to the Wake Up Super victory. At least there was for my generation. I know, that, like I said, play to win. By all means, play to win. If you land a Wake Up Super, you've earned it, right? You've earned it.
Why'd you get hit by it, bro?
right. But like, my generation was like, you combo into your super. You know, even if it's like a very hard to confirm, you still comboed into your super. But he would blast you with his super, and it was a super that was incredibly unsafe. But the percentages don't lie. You know, the math doesn't lie. I'm not going to give you the Steiner math promo, but the math doesn't lie. He will hit you with his Wake Up Supers, and that's Brother Man. He is both the most, like, mysterious person and the most, I don't want to say predictable, because that has, like, a negative connotation, but he's habitual. And his habitual aspects force you to play his game. And it's strong. I'm not. I've said many times, just because I don't want to deal with my own inadequacies, I've said he's a fraud, but he's the farthest from it because he outplays you. He outplays you, and that's the goal of every game. You outplay the opponent, and he does it.
Yep.
So that's Brother Man in a nutshell. I throughout the last many years, I know more about him than I ever have in recent times. Joe as well, but he keeps it close to the chest.
Yeah, I do feel like he's let a little bit of that mystery shroud down for very select people. I'm not in that privy group, unfortunately, but I still,
You'll get there.
I still love Brother Man, and he's one of the few people in this modern group that I feel like I can revert back to my probably overly toxic beginnings in fighting games when it was me and two of my closest friends sitting in the basement just talking shit to each other the entire time we were playing.
There you go.
He's the one that I can get the closest to that particular vibe again, and I know that he's not going to take it personally.
Sure.
And we're going to be able to give it back and forth.
Well, he cares about the win. You could say anything you want to him. If he gets the win, that's
it
all he
doesn't
cares about.
matter. Yeah.
And more than anything, he cares about the perfect win.
Oh, yeah.
If he gets a perfect on you, you might as well walk out of the room because like you've given him everything he needs.
So
that's it.
We have a new thing in Tekken 8 where we try and deliberately go for the delayed jump punch.
Nice.
The ground pound one.
Yep.
That, we call it the grand slam. So
Power dunk.
Yep. So if we can get a perfect and then we can get a grand slam in a set, oh man, it's over.
Game winning perfect.
Game winning perfect grand slam. That's dream scenario.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know if we're ever going to achieve that, but we're going to try. Or the delayed hop kick.
There you go.
We'll try and do those as well.
I feel like you can land the perfect grand slam on me because I lay down. I lay down if I'm knocked down in Tekken, and I'm just like, please don't launch me again. I will lay down and take all the damage. And now they nerfed your state when you're on the ground.
Yeah.
So like you're pretty much invincible if you hold back. Correct? Am I wrong?
Yeah,
like,
pretty much.
So like
well,
a lot of the mix up stuff that people were doing, like Doom Dash, is no longer in the game, from what I understand. And if you hold back, you'll be kind of safe against a lot of things.
To some degree. I mean, you can still get hit by lows and
right,
like that kind of stuff. But you actually don't even need to move back. If you just stand, it will auto block mids and highs.
Okay.
You don't even have to hold back.
Okay.
You can just stand there. And some people will do that and throw people off, where it's just like, he's just standing there. What are you doing?
I know he's gonna do something. He's just standing there.
He's menacingly.
Right.
But like, because it throws people off. Because like, especially coming from Tekken 7, where it was all about movement. Like you were schmoving all the time if you were playing it correctly.
And I wasn't.
Quote unquote. You know, like if you're playing it the right way, you are constantly backdashing, creating space, and like you're schmoving.
Yeah.
And then like you go to Tekken 8, and like people literally just stand there.
Yeah, Tekken 8 to me feels like Rock'em Sock'em Robots, like where they're right there. They're right there.
Yeah, that's where you want to be.
And they're just doing this.
Yep.
That's what it feels like to
And
me.
then the second one person goes like this, and then you're like,
right. And much like Rock'em Sock'em Robots, I get my head knocked off of my shoulders every time I play the game. But I do think it's fun. I don't know. I haven't played it in a long time. I don't know what state it's at now.
Season 2 is interesting. I was looking at Twitter before we started this, and I think Mateo's Twitter bio line sums it up pretty well, where it says, if you think Tekken 8 Season 2 is a good product, you have problems.
Very honest person.
Yes. He's about as blunt, honest as you can get, and there's part of that I really enjoy.
Oh, yeah. Because he gives it to you straight.
Yep. There's no bullshit. It's just, this is what it is. And, yeah, Season 2 is not the greatest place that Tekken has been in. There's been a couple patches since they've done that initial Season 2 rollout, and it's made varying degrees of improvement, but there is definitely still a long way to go. And our attendance has been severely hurt because of it.
Sure.
because people are they're just not vibing with the game, and there's nothing that we can do about that.
Yeah.
It's entirely on the source of the game itself, outside of providing a place where it's still fun to press buttons on.
Yeah.
And I guess that means you have to take it a little less competitively seriously.
I think that what Tekken feels like to me, what makes it hard to play is getting counter hit all the time. And if you're trying to mount your offense after waiting for your space and you get counter hit and counter hit and counter hit, it feels like someone like speaking over you when you're trying to like make a statement and like,
Yep.
like it hurts. It physically hurts when you're getting counter hit all the time. But that's a whole other argument. Anybody have any other things they wanted to chat about?
There's a Mega Man fighting game I played when I was a kid, Warlock, and it's probably Mega Man Power Battles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are freaking sick. Onimusha Blade Warriors? I don't know about it.
Never played. Yeah, that wasn't mine.
That was the Smash Bros. Platform fighter.
Oh, it was?
Clone, yeah.
Okay.
That one was it was fun. It was silly. Same with like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Smash Up. There was like
The Justice League one?
No.
They had a platform fighter?
Yeah, they had a platform fighter.
How do I not know about that?
It's not great, but it's fun.
Okay.
Because it's just silly.
Those games are designed to be fun.
I agree. I mean, unless you're talking about competitive Smash.
Yeah, I've never tried.
Competitive Smash is like, I know there's not as much anymore, but there's still a division in the fighting game community where they'll look at Smash as not a fighting game.
Mm-hmm.
And part of me agrees with that, and part of me doesn't. Because when I play Smash Bros., I'm playing a party game.
Mm-hmm.
When they're playing Smash Bros. Competitively, they're playing a completely different game.
Oh, yeah.
And like the stuff that they're doing, especially like now that I've a little bit more experience with Melee, because we've been running Construct here as well, which is very Melee and P+ focused. Like the maneuvers and things that they're doing are just as technical,
absolutely,
if not more so, and done at an even faster pace.
Yeah, I've seen it broken down, and like I've seen movements that look complicated but still look routine. Mm-hmm. I've seen them dissected like in slow-mo on YouTube, and I'm like, I respect it.
Yeah.
You know, it's its own thing. It's its own thing.
Yeah, it's
and
a
like,
unique flavor.
I understand why there would be a division and unfortunately a stigma, but it deserves its own respect for sure.
Yeah.
Like I can't do it. I absolutely can't do it.
I'll admit, when I first started doing this, I had the negative outlook, and the more I've been around it and the more I've interacted with like the people in the scene and like the community and stuff, I have learned to give it the respect that I feel like it does deserve.
Mm-hmm.
And it's completely changed like my overall outlook on it.
Yeah.
Because at first I was the only reason we started running Smash, and I'm not afraid to say this, the only reason we started running Smash to begin with was because of my buddy Keegan. Like, he's the one who kind of pushed me to start doing all of the tournament stuff in general. He's the one that initially told me about Josh's tournaments, Run the Set, and when I started going out to those. And then when we didn't know what happened, he was the one that kind of gave me that final push that said, like, you should do this, and I'll help however I can. And he was the one that very strongly pushed for Smash's inclusion.
And they're loyal.
100%.
So it was a good move.
Yeah, and like I said, I've grown very attached to a lot of the people in that scene, and like I can't see doing any of this without them.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate them, and like I said, a lot more respect for the game overall now that I've been around it longer and I understand.
Right.
They ask me every once in a while, like, you gonna hop in bracket? I'm like, no.
No way. Dude.
No.
Like, I wouldn't know.
I did it a couple times when I was at Tier 1. I've learned my lesson. We're not doing this anymore.
Right.
Like, I mean, I play Incineroar, and I do side B, and I catch people every once in a while. I get a nice little clothesline in there, and then we're good. I feel good about myself.
I would play it just like I would play against like a relative. I have no idea how to play it well.
Yeah.
Not the first step on how to play it well.
100%.
Don't know.
And like, there's some stuff that can kind of translate, like with footsies and like
Grab.
neutral and stuff like that.
Grab and shield. And,
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, when you start playing it at a high level, it's completely different.
Yeah.
There's stuff that I can't even fathom.
Yeah.
But all right, it looks like Chad is devolving. Oh, hold on, Jerry. This is a question from. Oh boy, I'm gonna butcher that name. Suyoyuki. I don't know if you know who that is.
I don't.
Cool. Shout out for being in the chat. Jerry, what's your favorite version of Alex from Street Fighter? In which game? And are you excited for him coming to Street Fighter 6?
I am an Alex main in Third Strike, and that is my favorite version. But I acknowledge he's a very flawed character. He's like a Frankenstein monster of things that sometimes work and things that sometimes don't. But he's so cool, and that's why I pick him. Like he's got one of the worst moves in the game is the DDT, but it's a DDT and it looks amazing when you hit it. And I hit it in matches, and it's embarrassing for the opponent because like either way, I played him a little bit in 5, and I wanted to like 5 more than I did. I think it's a better game than 4, but I didn't enjoy playing it as much, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay.
It was cool to see Alex back because I didn't think I would get him, but I did not like how like the V system, the trigger.
Yeah, V trigger and V, and then later on V shift.
Yeah, V shift I liked. I liked having another defense option, but I did not like that I had to choose between 2 different things that like he should have all together, that all the characters should have all together. That's what I like about Street Fighter 6 is like they give you everything. Like Zangief has everything. He's gonna lose. He's Zangief, but he has everything. And if you play Alex in Street Fighter 5, you have 2 different options. You could chain the specials, or you can do the counter hit, the pump up that gets you like free counter hit or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember exactly, but it's like just give it all to everybody. Like make the game Omega Street Fighter 4. And that's what they did for Street Fighter 6. Like they made it Omega Street Fighter 4 without the broken aspects.
Yeah.
So they like gave everybody so much stuff that you can use all the time, and it's fun, but like Alex in 5, as much as he can compete more than he could in 3S, it still felt incomplete. I liked that in Street Fighter 5, if I land toward heavy punch, that I'm like +4. That's sick. That's
nice.
Yeah, don't, and it for some reason puts a croucher and block stun. Why? It does, but cool. And I will say that I liked playing him in Tatsunoko versus Capcom because he was in the game, and I could play him against a giant robot, and it was hilarious to watch.
You could powerbomb him.
Yeah, you could, and that is why that version of Alex is pretty high up for me because you could powerbomb a giant robot. But yeah, I still got to go with Third Strike because I can make Third Strike Alex work. I'm not a great player in any game. I will never say like if you put me down next to a really good player, I am going to lose. But I can make Third Strike Alex work. I can do the Alex things. Like I can play to his best strengths and still lose. but I can make him work. So that's my favorite version. I am excited for him in 6, but I don't. I hope I know that Capcom hates grapplers. They just hate grapplers. They don't want grapplers to succeed. And I love Street Fighter 6 Zangief. He's my dream Geef. Like I've been a Geef main since the World Warrior. I've always been a Geef main. I've been a pile driver guy. That's my thing. My thing is getting hit until I get in and then winning. I love that. And so I've always been a Geef person, and they give me my dream Geef now. He's got the jackhammer. How cool is that? Yeah. But then they just keep changing the game and making him worse, and now they made him like really fat for a hitbox, and like he already struggles. Like the issue I have with Street Fighter 6 and how it relates to the Alex question is your grappler you should want to avoid being close to the grappler.
Yeah.
The archetype of the grappler is your opponent keeps you out. And I want to be kept out. I want to get my ass beat and then get near you and maybe win.
Get near you once.
Yeah,
and
that's what I want. But in Street Fighter 6, your opponent's goal is to get near Geef because he can't do anything because his SPDs are slow and like all of his moves are slow, and if you get him burnt out, he's screwed. Like, so if Alex can work, but he's always had slow grappling moves. Like even like power bombs were like 5 frames. They're not SPDs. They're not 1 frame. They're not 2 frames. They were 5. So like in Third Strike, you could jump out on reaction if you're good. You know, so that's what I'm worried about for Street Fighter 6 is what the game will do to a grappler hybrid character, because he could be really cool. And then they'll see that he's winning, and Capcom will be like, yeah, let's make him so that he's stupid, and that's what I'm worried about.
I feel like it's probably going to be pretty heavily reliant on like perfect parry powerbomb situation.
Yeah,
like something like that.
And if powerbomb gives you terrible Oki, that's another problem. Mm-hmm. You know, because like if I land a pile driver in Street Fighter 6 as opposed to Street Fighter 4, like I got huge damage, and that's great, but now I'm full screen and I'm struggling.
Yeah.
You know, Street Fighter 4, if you land an SPD, you green hand over and you're 50-50. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's probably not good. That's probably bad game design. Yeah. But it encouraged the grappler to want to be near the opponent, as opposed to now I'm zoning with a grappler. Like for the most part, when I'm playing Zangief now, I'm poking and zoning, and I punish with an SPD.
Yeah.
I don't do offensive SPDs because I will get destroyed. So, and that like inverts the whole understanding of the grappler archetype to me. So, the question about Alex in Street Fighter 6, it depends on what they'll allow him to do. You know, if they make it so that he performs as a hybrid grappler character like he used to, then great. But I know that they're going to be like, yeah, command grabs, no, make him bottom tier. You know, and that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah. Well, fair. Fair analysis. Fair analysis. All right. Let's see if we got any questions. All right. Question, Joe of all time. If you ran a jank tournament, what jank-ass game would you play?
Oh, boy. Okay. I think what I would love to do is to see people play Angel Eyes. If you're familiar with Angel Eyes, it's I think it's on PS1 and it's a Japan only. So play it on MAME. Okay. Because when you start Angel Eyes, they hurl your characters at each other, and you can 100% your opponent with an air combo off the jump. So like it says round 1 fight, and both characters are thrown at each other, and you can 100% and win. And the game is so poorly designed on every other level, where like there are characters that are 2D sprites and 3D renders in the same game, and there's a clash, like an aesthetics clash, that is too jarring to get past.
Oh, okay. I had to look it up because I'm like, it was tickling this part of my brain where I'm like, I feel like I should know this.
Look up Angel Eyes 100% combos on YouTube, and it's off round 1 fight. You win, and it's like 8 hits. It's hilarious.
That's amazing.
So I love broken stuff like that, like Fist of the North Star.
Oh.
Make it as broken as possible. If I'm not going to play competitively, I want dumb stuff.
Yes.
Make it fun, you know.
Beautiful. I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
Like there was a time in my life where my buddy Brad gave me a MAME folder with like 18,000 ROMs on it, and every time we would hang out, we would just hit random and just play whatever the hell showed up, and we came across so much just schlock.
So fun though.
Oh my god, they were so much fun.
Yeah.
Like eventually we ended up just like having to make a favorites folder to like just throw all the good ones in that we came across.
There you go.
Like, yeah, like that kind of stuff, I love that. That's why mystery brackets always resonate with me.
Oh yeah.
Because they're so much fun.
Yeah.
There's so much fun, just so much random stuff that you come
And
across.
it tests your fundamentals.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, like the ability to be able to just like adapt to whatever like under pressure, and just there's so much fun. I love that stuff.
Right.
So like you and I are definitely kindred spirits in that regard. Like I love just playing random shit.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you had that MAME cabinet there and you just like, yeah, let's play Waku Waku 7. Like,
Oh yeah.
hell yeah,
A game I
dude.
still don't get. I don't understand it. I've played it a number of times. I still don't understand it. Have you played Rabbit?
Rabbit. No.
Rabbit is sick. Everybody should try Rabbit once. It's so fun. It's so good. I don't want to get into that game. It's a weird game.
Okay.
But it's so good. Try it. Try Rabbit. It's fun.
Because yeah, I think Brother Man was the one that introduced me to Toy Fighter.
Toy Fighter's great.
That game was so much fun.
It's so good. It's so good and so unique.
Yeah.
Nothing is like that.
Dude, like I was like, how the hell did we get? Why did we get Tobal and not Toy
Right.
Fighter? Like, what,
Right.
What the hell were they thinking? Like, oh, there's so much like, there's so many just hidden gems out there in like the stuff that we didn't get here, and
Yeah.
it's frustrating.
Yeah.
Because there's so much cool shit.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, we pulled up Slap Happy Rhythm Busters on the arcade cabinet
So fun.
a few weeks ago, and now we occasionally see people going back,
Good.
turning back on Slap Happy Rhythm Busters and trying to learn it.
Nice.
Because like, there's so much just fun stuff out there that's never really saw the light of day.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
And some games get re-released. Like I love that there is a PS4 version of like Last Blade 2. You know,
Yes.
amazing game. Amazing game that now people can just download and play.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's awesome, and hopefully they do.
And it's one of those things where it's like I always thought collections were kind of like a double-edged sword, because it's like I feel like I should buy these to support them, but I already have so many ways to play these that are
Right.
technically better.
I can't think of how many ways I bought Street Fighter 2.
Exactly.
How many ways have I bought Street Fighter 2?
Exactly. It's like should I buy a copy of the Capcom Fighting Collection 2 so Capcom and SNK understand that I do want CVS 3?
And I think they're testing the waters with that, and they're giving us the glimpses with all the crossover. It has to be in development. It has to be. You know, I want to believe it. I want to believe it. We're playing CVS 2 more again now that we have the collection. It's so good, and yeah, sky's the limit for where they can go. So hopefully, I buy all the collections. I'm a fool. I'm like, oh, Street Fighter 2 again? All
You're
right.
not a fool. That is not the correct term. Fool is not the correct term.
No, but they could literally sell me Hyper Fighting by itself, and I'll buy it again. That's a fool, but I will do it. Like yes, absolutely.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, all right, brother. We've been yapping for about 2 hours.
Wow,
And
went by quick.
It really did. Because I know I could stay here for another like 3 hours, but I'm assuming you have work tomorrow.
I do, and
Yeah.
I have no idea what time it is.
Yeah. So it's, okay, we should probably wrap it up. So I'm not seeing any other questions in the chat.
That's awesome
at
that
the
there is a
moment.
chat that people wanted to check this out.
People be yapping in here, bro. You gotta follow.
Will I be able to see that after the
Yes.
stream?
Yeah. So
Okay.
if you go on the Twitch stream, and just rewatch the Twitch stream, the chat will populate on
Okay.
there as well. So yeah, a lot of people hanging out in here. Appreciate y'all coming in and helping us bring in this first episode. And seriously, man, thank you again for agreeing to come on here and just sitting down and yapping with me. I mean, it's always fun to talk to you, but it was really cool just to get that perspective of the time that I was unfortunately not able to be a part of.
Well, you're
And-
living it now, and even if you weren't there for the '90s arcade experience, which was amazing, it was amazing. You're living it now, having people both recognizable faces and strangers come in, and having that competitive aspect come to life. It's back, you know. So, as much as it was awesome to be a part of it, it never really went away. It was dormant for a little bit.
Yeah, it just changed a
Mhm.
little. Just took on a slightly new form, which
Yep.
is really cool to see.
Mhm.
And so, one quick question before we call it, because you mentioned Bob's back in the day.
Mhm.
Was Bob's the stereotypical '80s arcade of like everything's dirty, everything's grungy, people smoking and like doing needles in the back. And, like,
It wasn't like that.
No,
it resembled like I was going to say Showbiz Pizza. That reveals my age. Showbiz Pizza is what's the Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh, okay.
It was Showbiz Pizza. It resembled a Chuck E. Cheese, but with way more cabinets, like a ton of cabinets.
Okay.
It wasn't dirty and it wasn't smoky. It was definitely it's for kids. Like they had skee ball and like all the other stuff, but then they had Mortal Kombat. And it was like I played Time Killers at Uncle Bob's on a cabinet. Like
that's so sick.
Yeah,
Time Killers is sick.
I put in my 50 cents and got decapitated on the first move, and that was part of the experience. And so yeah, Uncle Bob's, I loved it. My mom, I either had my allowance or my mom would give me a 20, which was unbelievable at the time. You cash it and you put it in the quarter machine.
Just all of the quarters.
Oh yeah, and plop yourself in front of the Simpsons arcade, go all the way through. Yep. The one of the best things about the arcade scene or being at the arcade is the stimulus overload of all the sounds. Yeah. Like hearing all of the games with all their different like color palettes at once. Mm-hmm. It's like that is something that's hard to recreate, and we can now. Yeah. You know, that experience is what will really bring me back to being a kid. Like hearing, and they're all on 11. They are all so loud. Yeah. And like when MK2 came out with like that sound, it was just like, it was incredible. It was really incredible, yeah. Yeah, just awesome.
So yeah, I think that's the next on the docket. Next Vibe night that we have, we're gonna put a different game on every single system throughout the building.
Oh boy!
And then just max out the volume.
Yeah.
And just try and recreate that marquee mode experience.
Oh, absolutely.
Like we said earlier, like that's what got me into fighting games in general was the fact that Street Fighter vs. X-Men was the one that cut across all the rest of the marquee sounds. Mm-hmm. Like that announcer,
they called you over.
That announcer screaming out Shinku Hadouken is like, and that was like the only one of those versus games that they like actually had the announcer like shout out the super move, right?
Yeah, that I can recall.
Like that was the only one I can remember, and like that announcer just burned himself into my brain for all time. But all right, chat.
Thank you, everybody.
Appreciate y'all. Gemma's stretching in the background. She knows it's time to go. So we're gonna call it. And appreciate y'all. Thank you again, Jerry.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Peace out.